Hello, greetings. So this Muhammad, he used all forms of things to make the people believe in him. So I'm a truth seeker, have been, and try to put myself in the shoes of the other party, the disbelievers as they are called in the Quran, the Ahl Kitab, Jews, Christians, but mostly concentrating on the Jews and the idol worshippers, disbelievers. And now the Bedouins here in Surah 48, where clear victory has been given to Muhammad. So, yes, back to Surah Fath. Like I said, I'll keep coming back here. Fath from, now that's the first surah, sorry, I'm just reading. I've opened the multilingual Quran, that's from the Shia side, and the Shia religious scholars and historians. Well. So Muhammad used blackmailing, punishments, fear, that is a lot of fear. We couldn't see that when being a Shia in my early years in life. And emotional blackmailing as his grandson helped him, Hussein bin Ali, son of Ali, Hussein, and his household helped us a lot in this emotional blackmailing. So it's on my side and my face is blackened. That's how it will come, I guess. Black face in the hereafter if this religion is true. So I was looking at it through the other side, and this is the way I speak. I'm really sorry, jumping, hopping from here and there. So I would request you to look at it the way I'm showing you now for a while, just, through this way and see, because Surah Azab was the turning point for me, the verse in Surah Azab, where he, that verse 37, he feared the people. So I couldn't make out why this, I felt there was a contradiction there in Surah Azab. Verse 37, he tells Zaid, we are told his name is given in this ayat also. In this ayat his name is given, that the adopted son was Zaid. So, the messenger of Allah tells Zaid that keep your wife and fear Allah, whilst you hid in your heart, that verse tells us. The way it is put, Allah is telling him, the messenger of Allah that you hid in your heart would allow us to reveal, and you feared the people because he had taken Zaid as his adopted son. And then we are, before that we are told that, okay, you took him as your adopted son, but you practiced this old custom of the pagans, but it was an intentional mistake by you. So the way we are told it's in the Quran, I'm just using my own words, I hope you will overlook this, just explaining the verses. So you took him as your adopted son, as according to the pagan customs, and then you have, so you have just made an unintentional mistake. God forgives him there. I mean, there's no need to even forgive him. There's no question of forgiveness for Rasulullah. No question of forgiveness. So he makes a mistake. In Surah Azab verse we are told, by adopting Zaid as his son. And so God says, now I'm going to change this because not how you could ever do this. The blame does not go on the Messenger of Allah. But the way the ayats are put, it is like a very, it goes in favor of Prophet Muhammad or the Messenger. Yes, it was Muhammad, because according to the Shias, then we have his progeny. And I have touched on that too, about Imam Jafar Sadiq. Maybe they stole it from the Greeks. I don't know. So we have these Imams. We felt he has given us such a great thing, La ilaha illallah, only worship one God, but no God, no other God. Take him as a messenger. He is the messenger, the last, the seal of the prophets from the Abrahamic religion. He has also given us an intercession, intercessories, his successors, which are from his household, very, very good. And they will keep up this religion with truth. Many religions have gone into, even the Abrahamic religions have taken Jesus Christ as the Son, gone into Trinity, and things like that. Even the Jews, we are told, took sons. God, they call themselves the sons of God. Azra was the son of God, and all this. Again, the way these ayats were put in Surah Azab for him is amazing. Although we are told about the beauty, even though the beauty attract thee, so I'm not ending that verse about, which one is it? That you made an unintentional mistake. I've read it through the commentary of the Shias, how it has come through the Imams to us, explaining things. And then our religious scholars have put it there. And thorough research through the Sunnis also, relying on Sunni sources and saying that our Imams have also helped us. All this mixture. And so not leaving that verse behind. But you know how the other verse is put in Surah Azab that even though the beauty attract thee, now no more can you marry those women whose beauty, even if their beauty attract you. And what a sad, tragic way to deceive us, and how the Shia religious scholars also have, with due respect to them, have put it not, saying anything maybe about the beauty attracting Prophet Muhammad, but what your right hands possess, you can still marry them, have them. I don't know if marriage is the word used or what word is used there. Then, so how well it is put in Surah Azab, you can go through it, and if you are a Shia still wondering, you can recheck. So the beauty, no more you can marry women, but take what your right hands possess, even if now they are beautiful. This is what the verse means, that the beauty hasana, what attracts you, of the goodness that in them which attracts you, now you can take them. So this, and here, so remember now I'm reading this because looking at, in a way, I see that now this prophet casting fears, and even doubts are not allowed in this religion. We can't even doubt this prophet. In the commentary section we are told, it's a great evil to doubt him. In Surah Fath, Ayat, under some ayat you'll find here in the multilingual Quran, Quran.al-islam.org. You can find it here. It is an effort of the Ahl al-Bayt Digital Islamic Library Project. You can find the Shia sources and commentaries and explanations. So this, you might feel that I am being harsh with the Shias, but consider the idolaters of that time. And when you read about Abu Sufyan's daughter who married Prophet Muhammad, if you can, through the Sunni sources, it's come to us. If you can go through this. Yes, here it is in Wikipedia. You can get this, life in Medina. She was called Habiba. So, marriage to Ubaydullah ibn Josh, brother of Zainab bin Josh. Muhammad also married a brother. Her first husband was Ubaydullah ibn Josh, a brother of Zainab bin Josh, whom Muhammad also married. Ubaydullah and Ramla were among the first people to accept Islam again. But if you have any sort of, for Imam Hussain and Prophet Muhammad, any sort of sympathies and all this, read this. Muhammad sent Ramla, Life in Medina, Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia. On one occasion, Abu Sufyan visited his daughter Ramla in her house in Medina. As he went to sit on the apostle's carpet, she folded it up so that he could not sit on it. My dear daughter, he said, I hardly know if you think that the carpet is too good for me or that I am too good for the carpet. She replied, it is the apostle's carpet. and you are an unclean polytheist. Unclean polytheist. She's saying this to her father. I do not want you to sit on the apostles' carpet. By God, he said, since you left, by God, Abu Sufyan tells his daughter, he said, since you left me, you have gone to the bad. So this is when Abu Sufyan had not embraced Islam. But the point here is that what hatred for the polytheists. That she hates her father. She hates her father, Abu Sufyan, married to Prophet Muhammad now. She hates her father. She calls him an unclean polytheist. And this is the carpet of her husband, Prophet Muhammad. He cannot sit on it. So we have this references by Isaac Gulome, I don't know, Isaac, page 543, citations, and 11 here. John Glubb, The Life and Times of Muhammad, Lanham, 1998, page 304 to 310. So I can show you this. Relatives. Yazid, half-brother. Muawiyah, half-brother. Usman, first cousin. Marwan, first cousin. All these, we are told, gave problems to Rasulullah's al and Rasulullah. Uthman bin Affan was an idolater according to the Shia after their research, thorough research. So if you have any amount of sympathies, read through everything, all this, and decide through the Sunni sources to references, citations given here. The hadith literature includes about 65 hadiths narrated by Ramla, Muhammad al-Bukhari, and Muslim bin al-Hajjaj agreed on 2 of them, and Muslim took 2 of them alone. So a lot of references given here. On one occasion, Abu Sufyan visited his daughter Ramla in her house in Medina. As he went to sit on the apostles' carpet, she folded it up so that he could not sit on it. My dear daughter, he said, I hardly know if you think that the carpet is too good for me or that I am too good for the carpet. She replied, it is the apostles' carpet, and you are an unclean polytheist. I do not want you to sit on the apostles' carpet. By God, he said, since you left me, you have gone to the bad. Ramla died in year 45 AH, 664 or 665 CE, during the kingship of her brother Muawiyah. She was buried in the Jannat al-Baqi cemetery next to other wives of Muhammad. So let's see what else is there. Ramla sent a proposal, and yes. So where shall I go now? Back to, I guess, Surah Fath. Just reading here, she was the daughter of Abu Sufyan ibn Harb and Safiya bint Abi al-As. So I read somewhere that Muawiyah really loved his half sister, right? It's not stepsister, half sister. It's that there's a bit of a difference between half sister and stepsister. Relatives, half brother. Mawiya, half brother. So, okay, we'll go. So, think of this. Think of the other side. And I'm reading in, because it's difficult to show. Couldn't see properly. So here I found this here in the multilingual Quran in Surah 48 commentary section under verse 22. No, sorry, this is I found in Surah 58. Is it? Surah 58, I found the two sheikhs, Bukhari and Muslim, record on the authority of Sa'd ibn al-Waqqas that the Holy Prophet left Ali ibn Abi Talib behind as his vicegerent during the expedition to Tabuk. And Ali said, O Messenger of Allah, do you leave me behind among the women and children? He replied, are you not content to be to me in the relation of Harun to Musa, save that there shall be no prophet after me? So, sorry, I made a mistake. I was thinking it's in under the commentary, under the Ayat commentary of Surah Fath, but it's under the Ayat commentary of Surah 58, which is this the surah name. Where is it? It's not given here. So Surah 58 is Mujadila, I think. So you can search for it. And I'm just going to cover this. Blackened face. No, it's dark here. Okay, this is quite something grave, challenging for us. And challenging for the Shias, not the former Shias can celebrate. Although it's very, very painful. I have flashbacks, feelings. I feel like, the blackmail, emotional blackmail. How we have evidence of our imams, their shrines and all. So how they survived, like why weren't they killed? I was thinking of that too. Like why wasn't Umar bin Khattab had a chance to kill Ali ibn Abu Talib, He went to Fatima Zahra's house with fire and wanted to, also injured her, we are told. I don't know how far that is true. Umar bin Khattab had a chance to kill Ali ibn Abu Talib, but we are told that, the great God, the protector, saved him from the enemy. This day have the enemies despaired. I think that ayat is in Surah Maida. On this day have the enemies despaired, or Surah Al Imran. Can't remember properly. So, no, they couldn't kill Ali ibn Abu Talib. So, God is So Nadi Ali and Ya Ali is something, right? And then what can I say? But as I look at the other things, ayats, like in Surah Tahrim, again Prophet Muhammad, the Prophet can make an oath pleasing his wives, promise them something. I thought it was divorce thing. He, didn't. He said, okay, I will not divorce you, wives, or something. And then God told him that, no, why are you not? I thought the question was on divorce. Why do you forbid yourself what Allah has allowed you in Surah Tahrim? Okay, so before I go on, the small mistakes that I make, I hope you will overlook them and take my work seriously. Like, for example, if I say surahs instead of ayats, or if I say that this contents, this commentary is in Surah Fath, but it actually is in Surah Mujadala, Surah 58 of the Quran. So, the statement of the woman who pleads with thee, yes, Surah Mujadala. Please overlook that and please take my work a little more seriously than the mistakes I'm making. So look at the gist and what the verses I'm reading and how I'm looking at it. Sometimes a perfect person, may not be. Someone can be making mistakes, but maybe there's some truth behind them. So look beyond that, but not like the mistake, because you see, I'm not saying I'm infallible. I'm fallible, being through a lot and traumatized in life and shock. In shock also right now, I'm speaking. So, and I have to mention this because I'm not using my health in that sense to wrap anyone up who wanted to convince whom, who wanted to scare whom. I'm just saying that you look at my side and consider why I became a former, why I've become an ex-Shia. And then I kind of feel claustrophobic. You know, that Shia collective consciousness. Excuse me. Yes, so some of you Shias, most of you, may want to cling on to this religion. It's okay. You can do that. But please don't kill us. Jafri sect, we are told here there's a death penalty, right, for apostasy. So, I know it's very, very hard to leave this religion. Some Shias have, but many Shias will not. So, so Imam Ali remained behind in the Tabuk expedition, right? And Rasulullah remained behind uh, in that pilgrimage for Hajj, the this is the greater pilgrimage, as we call it, Hajj. It's not Umrah. So here, again, in one of the sites of my Shias, a restatement of the history of Islam and Muslims by Sayyid Ali Asghar Razwi, Razwy. Sorry if I've mispronounced it. Here, the proclamation of Surah Barah or Al-Tawbah. We are told when the pilgrim season of 9 AH arrived, Muhammad, the Messenger of God, had myriads of pressing duties demanding his immediate attention, so that he was unable to leave Medina. He therefore sent Abu Bakr to Makkah as the leader of a group of 300 pilgrims to conduct the rites of Hajj. It was Abu Bakr's first real out front leadership role. How could I just go through this and where is it? Messenger of God had myriads of pressing duties demanding his immediate attention. Okay? Pressing duties. Didn't I read that domestic ones too? Yes, it's on the same website. Washington Irving has put it this way, that Muhammad sent Abu Bakr as commander of the pilgrims to Makkah, he himself being too occupied with public and domestic concerns to absent himself from Medina. So Ali was to recite the surah. So he was sent to Makkah with speedily, in a hurry. And so this thing, and what does Sir William Muir say? Towards the close of the pilgrimage, nothing about Muhammad Hussain Akel, Quran recitation by Ali. So life of Muhammad, life of the Messenger of God. Washington Irving has taken it from the life of Muhammad in brackets. So Ali had to be the one, as the Shia say, the successor immediately after Prophet Muhammad. This is another proof of his successorship, evidence for Ali's successorship after Rasulullah. Now the person here has put it, our Shia, when the pilgrimage season of 9 AH arrived. This is a greater pilgrimage. This is Hajj. But Muhammad, he doesn't say but I'm just saying but. I'm just reading through it and adding a little bit here. Muhammad, the Messenger of God, had myriads of pressing duties demanding his immediate attention. so that he was unable to leave Medina. And here Washington Irving puts it, Muhammad sent Abu Bakr as commander of the pilgrims to Mecca, he himself being too occupied with public and domestic concerns to absent himself from Medina. We're not told what were these, or I have not read this. I haven't read this fully, but it's more concentrated on who will be the successor about this proclamation of Surah Tawbah. So this was proof for the Shias that this was proof for the Muslims. Muslims should have taken from the Shia side that Ali should have been the successor. The Sunnis don't. They say no, this is not enough to tell us that Ali was the immediate successor after Prophet Muhammad. This is confined to only this, the surah, and their reasoning is given here in this, I think, Sunni side. Although Makkah, Pictal, Marmaduke Pictal, although Makkah had been conquered and people were now Muslims, the official order of the pilgrimage had been changed, the pagan Arabs performing it in their manner and the Muslims in their manner. It was only after the pilgrims' caravan had left Al-Madinah in the 9th year of Hijrah, when Al-Islam was dominant in North Arabia, that the declaration of immunity, as it is called, was revealed. The Prophet sent a copy of it by messenger to Abu Bakr, leader of the pilgrimage, with the instruction that Ali was to read it to the multitude at Makkah. Its purport was that after that year Muslims only were to make the pilgrimage, exception being made for such of the idolaters as had a treaty with the Muslims and had never broken their treaty nor supported anyone against them. Such were to enjoy the privileges of their treaty for the term thereof. But when their treaty expired, they would be as other idolaters. So the treaty was supposed to expire. There was an expiry on the treaty. That proclamation marks the end of idol worship in Arabia. Introduction, this is a citation, Introduction to the Translation of Holy Quran, Lahore, Pakistan, 1975, in brackets. It was the pleasure of Allah that his favorite slave Ali ibn Abu Talib should, by reading his proclamation, put an end to idolatry in Arabia forever. So here, Hajj, the Prophet misses Hajj. He's kept busy with some duties, pressing duties, many pressing duties in Medina, we are told. So even if when you don't help Prophet Muhammad, so the Shias will tell you that no, in Karbala, Imam Hussein said, you can leave me, they want to kill me. So what is this thing about not helping Prophet Muhammad here? In Surah Fath, against the Bedouins, we are told. Bedouins are used here. So, Allah promised you many acquisitions. Oh, I have to talk about the acquisitions too. Booty of war, spoils of war, booty. This is verse 20 of 48. So, and look at this, verse 19 and 20. Okay, before going on with this booty, just here that Muhammad stayed behind, and the Bedouins who did not want to go to Mecca now with Prophet Muhammad for the lesser pilgrimage, but first time they've conquered now Mecca. So a clear victory, right? Surah Fath. Where is the ayat? I keep missing. Surely we have sent you. Surely those who swear allegiance to you, but swear. So those of the dwellers of the desert, here it is, verse 11. Those of the dwellers of the desert who were left behind will say to you, our property and our families kept us busy. So ask forgiveness for us. They say with their tongues what is not in their hearts. Say then, who can control anything for you from Allah if He intends to do you harm or if He intends to do you good? Nay, Allah is aware of what you do. When the Holy Prophet, now I'm reading the commentary, Puya Ali commentary. When the Holy Prophet started from Medina on the journey to Makkah, he asked all the Muslims to join him in the pious act of performing Umrah. This is a lesser pilgrimage to Makkah, to the Kaaba. And he had a good response, but some stayed back and made excuses. They wanted to save their skins from the possible attack by the Makkans. No power on the earth or in the heavens can intervene if Allah intends to give any people loss or profit. In the commentary, this is given. Shia, Multilingual Quran. Verse 12. Nay, you rather thought that the Messenger and the believers would not return to their families ever, and that was made fair seeming to your hearts, and you thought an evil thought, and you were a people doomed to perish. I wonder if they wanted to attack or, treachery was there, but the Makkans would have treacherously broken the treaty. How they conquered Makkah, God knows. So these Bedouins said, we don't want to go. We are busy. And they actually didn't mean it. Why? Why didn't they mean it? Even if, so looking at it through all sides, considering everything, what really was happening there, those who were left behind will say, when you set forth for the gaining of acquisitions, allow us that we may follow you. They desire to change the word of Allah. By no means shall you follow us. Thus did Allah say before. But they will say, nay, you are jealous of us. Nay, they do not understand but a little. Verse 15. Soon after his return from Hudaybiyah, the Holy Prophet decided to proceed against the Jews of Khaybar and declared that he would take with him only those who had accompanied him to Hudaybiyah, because those who stayed behind at the time of going on that journey and now desire to be there when booty could be available were debarred from joining the jihad. Jihad is not for personal gain or booty. Jihad is striving hard in war and peace in the cause of Allah. This is the commentary. Under verse 15 of Surah 48. Jihad is not a gainer. So look at this, they were debarred from, prevented, or, okay, this is what is said. I really, what I'm trying to look at and reveal here, expose here. Verse 19. And many acquisitions which they will take, and Allah is mighty wise. This is the booty. Verse 20. Allah promised you many acquisitions which you will take. Then He hastened on this one for you, and held back the hands of men from you, and that it may be a sign for the believers, and that He may guide you on a right path. Commentary, Shia, from the Shia. Promise of many gains refers to the conquest of Khaybar and fall of Makkah. Yeah, so it was a fall of Makkah, the Hudaybiyah treaty. With that, fall of Makkah. Promise of many gains refers to the conquest of Khaybar and fall of Makkah. He has restrained the hands of people from you refers to the restraint which the powerful tribes of Bani Asad and Bani Ghaftan exercised, effected by Allah when they were planning to attack Medina. A sign for the believers is the valor of Ali he demonstrated in the Battle of Khaybar. So here Prophet Muhammad marries, after the Battle of Khaybar, he's won over Jews and he marries Safiya bint Huyay. So what we are told here, I really don't want to read, because just showing the other side for the Bedouin case, the case for the Bedouins. Booty is promised, and the commentary of the Shias earlier on says that jihad was not for the booty. Here the Shias have, see, under verse 15, were debarred from joining the jihad. Jihad is not for personal gain or booty. Jihad is striving hard in war and peace in the cause of Allah. This is really going against those who are left behind will say, when you set forth for the gaining of acquisitions, you set forth for the gaining of acquisitions. Allow us that we may follow you. It's revealing something. Read between the lines here, please. They desire to change the word of Allah, that you set forth for the gaining of acquisitions. Did they change the word of Allah? When we are told where? Verse 19. And many acquisitions which they will take, and Allah is mighty wise. Who is saying this? Are the Bedouins saying this, or those who kept themselves away from Hudaybiyah, entering Makkah with the Holy Prophet and those Muslims? Here in verse 19, and many acquisitions which they will take, and Allah is mighty wise. Who is saying this? Verse 20. Allah promised you. Who has promised you? Again, these are two verses for acquisitions, booties, spoils of war. Allah promised you many acquisitions, which you will take. Remember, again, then He hastened on this one for you. Then He hastened on this one for you. And what's changed? Promise of many gains refers to the conquest of Khaybar and fall of Makkah. Sorry, I have not completed the ayat, but just reading the commentary here. Promise of many gains refers to the conquest of Khaybar and fall of Makkah. Here we are told these people who say that you went for the booty acquisitions, a translation by Shakir, acquisitions, verse 15 again. Those who are left behind, the Bedouins also, maybe it refers to soon after, yes. So that in this surah they're talking about the Bedouins. Those who are left behind will say, so it could be generally anyone who is left behind, like the Bedouins. Right? Reading the verse. Those who are left behind will say, when you set forth for the gaining of acquisitions, allow us that we may follow you. They desire to change the word of Allah. Can we say the word of Allah is changed here? Be very, very careful. Thank God I came to this accusation verses. First, it tells these who left behind, who kept themselves away. So, look at this ayat. Leave everything now. Do you see this? I don't even have to explain myself much. The Quran ayat speaks for itself. Quran ayats. Look. God is being caught here. Islam has fallen to pieces. Have I read this right? I just have to put this on the other side. I don't know how to convert it from my face to the other side, this video. Sorry, I cannot show you this verse, Shakir translation. And then we'll read, no, I won't read Buya Ali commentary here. Verse 16, say to those of the dwellers of the desert who are left behind. No, where is it? Sorry, it just turned. Sorry, I was looking. Please, verse 15, sorry about the mistake. Please overlook. Those who are left behind will say, when you set forth for the gaining of acquisitions. Oh, they allow us that we may follow you. They desire to change the word of Allah. Say, by no means shall you follow us. Thus did Allah say before. But they will say, nay, you are jealous of us. Nay, they do not understand but a little. This doesn't have to do with the... See, that's why changing, this doesn't have to do with their saying that you are jealous of us, saying to the Muslims and all who were with Rasulullah at that time. It says here, those who are left behind, it means how they change the word of Allah. They're changing, they desire to change the word of Allah. like the Jews changing the word of the Torah, Christians changing the word of Injil. But why have I brought that? Just telling you, they were all blamed. Those who are left behind will say, when you set forth for the gaining of acquisitions, actually the gaining, quotation marks, gaining of acquisitions, booty, spoils of war. Allow us that we may follow you. They desire to change the word of Allah. That's why Aka Puya or Ali commentary says that, okay, I'll have to read the commentary here. Because those who stayed behind at the time of going on that journey and now desire to be there when booty accusation could be available were debarred from joining the jihad. Jihad is not for personal gain or booty. Jihad is striving hard in war and peace in the cause of Allah. What does it mean? Yani this surah, that's why the commentary has put it, jihad is not for personal gain or booty. These people in Surah verse 15, we are told, are trying to change the word of the Quran that you desired, you went forth for the gaining of acquisitions. Allow us also to follow you. They desire to change the word of Allah. Say, by no means shall you follow us. Again, there's more that they say, thus did Allah say before. But they will say, nay, you are jealous of us. This is after what? The desire to change the word of Allah. Now I got it, and did you get it? Proper English translation, understanding. Even the commentary is given. They desire to change the word of Allah. They are telling these Muslims that you went forth for the booty. Thus they desire to change the word of Allah. It doesn't say thus, but I'm just explaining this verse. Okay? They desire, just remember this. Here, verse 15 of Surah 48. Those who are left behind will say, when you set forth for the gaining of acquisitions, booty, spoils of war. They put this blame, we are told in this ayat, they put this blame on the Muslim believers. Allow us that we may follow you. They desire to change the word of Allah. Say, by no means shall you follow us. What word of Allah? That you went forth for the gaining of acquisitions. Then we come here to this ayat. And many accusations. 19. There's an ayat here, 19. And many accusations which they will take. And Allah is mighty wise. They will take in the future. But we come to verse 20 again about accusations. Allah promised you. What did Allah do? Allah has promised you many acquisitions which you will take. Then He hastened on this one for you and held back the hands of men from you, and that it may be a sign for the believers, and that he may guide you on a right path. Commentary. Now I finished the ayat. Commentary. Promise of many gains refers to the conquest of Khaybar and fall of Makkah. What are we told here? Okay, I'm going to put these three ayats together and maybe come back later on. It's very, very hard on my heart. But I have to share this. Which ayat was it? 15 of the same surah. Do you see? Those who were left behind have not really changed the word of Allah. Because later on we are told that Allah has promised them. What does that mean? Acquisitions, acquiring, getting booty from jihad. So who is changed? So here they are blamed for these poor people who were left behind. We are told those who are left behind will say, when you set forth for the gaining of acquisitions. Okay, just for a moment, allow us that we may follow you. Yeah, they are blamed for this. So now they're saying that you went forth. They're telling the Muslim believers who went forth with Rasulullah that they went forth for the gaining of acquisitions. In Surah, verse 15 we are told. Then what we are told here in verse 15, that they desire to change the word of Allah. That Allah does not mean jihad, Allah has not promised any gains of beauty. This is not what they are going there for. However, then we are told here under the comment, even explained, verse 19, and many acquisitions which they will take, and Allah is mighty wise. Verse 20, Allah promised you many acquisitions which you will take. Then he hastened on this one for you and held back the hands of men from you, and that it may be a sign for the believers, and that he may guide you on a right path. What is sign for that he held their hands back from you, the disbelievers, the fighters and all, aggressors, the adversaries' hands. Promise of many gains refers to the conquest of Khaybar. From the conquest of Khaybar and fall of Makkah. Clear victory. Surah Fath. This is definitely a war, battle of Khaybar. A sign for the believers is the valor of Ali. He demonstrated in the battle of Khaybar. Promise of many gains, back here to the commentary up, refers to the conquest of Khaybar and the fall of Makkah. Here Allah has promised. You see, bribery, greed, women, captives, marrying, whatever, sleeping with them. Okay, I'm not going to use the word rape now because I know you will perhaps want to sympathize with the Shias and Hussein bin Ali and the Imams who... Yes, and the Imams thereafter. My video was stopped, and so I've made it editing. I've done some of that, and I'm going to then upload it after editing. So sorry you cannot see my blackened face, which I mentioned earlier. I've edited this video, and I will continue later about this, so in another video. Thank you so much.